Multiplying fractions and mixed numbers. And now a word from our joke of the day. Why did the math student eat his test? Because his teacher said it was a piece of cake. Today's lesson is on multiplying fractions and mixed numbers. The Indiana Academic Standard is 7.2.1, and I think you're going to really enjoy this lesson because actually multiplying fractions and mixed numbers is easier than adding and subtracting, because today we don't have to have a common denominator. I want to say that again. We won't have a common denominator when we multiply fractions and mixed numbers. To multiply fractions and mixed numbers, you must turn all mixed numbers into fractions, then multiply the numerators, multiply the denominators, and finally simplify your answer. We're not going to use what they've set up underneath the problem here to do our work. We're just going to write our problem off to the side, and I think you'll see why, because we write much less than what the notes require. Our first problem is 3/5 times 5/6. When you're multiplying fractions, it's important that if you can cross-cancel in the problem, do so. It will make simplifying the answer so much easier. So let's take a look at this first problem. Look at the diagonals in the problem. 5 and 5, and 3 and 6. Let's first start with 5 and 5. Is there anything that will go into 5 and 5? Well, 5 can. So we can cross out the 5s and turn them both into 1. 5 divided by 5 is 1. 5 divided by 5 is 1. Then we can look at the other diagonal, the 3 and the 6. Is there anything that goes into 3 and 6? Well, 3 does. 3 divided by 3 is 1. 6 divided by 3 is 2. So we end up with a problem of 1 times 1 for the numerator, which is 1, and 1 times 2 for the denominator, which is 2. So our answer is 1/2. Pause the video if you need more time to copy down the notes. For 1a, we have 3/5 times 1/4. If you look at the diagonals, nothing will go into 5 and 1, and nothing can go into 3 and 4, so we can just multiply. 3 times 1 is 3, 5 times 4 is 20. Ask yourself, is it in simplest form? Yes, it is. Nothing goes into 3 and 20. Let's look at example 1b, 5/6 times 4/5. Let's see if we can cross-cancel. Well, when we see the 5s diagonally, we know that we can cross-cancel those. 5 goes into 5. So 5 divided by 5 is 1, and 5 divided by 5 is 1. Now let's look at 6 and 4. What can go into 6 and 4? 2 can. So 6 divided by 2 is 3, and 4 divided by 2 is 2. So we're left with the problem 1 times 2, which is 2, and 3 times 1, which is 3. Our final answer is 2/3. Try example C on your own. Write the problem down. Remember to cross-cancel if you can, multiply, and then simplify. Pause the video right now, work the problem, then start it again to see how you did. So the problem is 2/3 times 4/5. We can't cross-cancel, so we just get to multiply. 2 times 4 is 8. 3 times 5 is 15. So your final answer is 8/15. If you got this problem right, keep track of that. At the end of this video, I want you to message me on Edmodo and tell me how many problems you got right. Now you're ready to tackle some whole number and mixed number fraction problems. For example number 2, we have Ebony biked 12 miles on Saturday. Kate biked 2/3 of Ebony's distance. How far did Kate bike? I want to point out that whenever you're finding a fraction of another number, that's a multiplication problem. So if you see the word of, be on the lookout that you're probably going to be multiplying. So we're going to take 2/3 times 12. We're going to write this off to the side. Remember, we put all whole numbers over 1 to turn them into a fraction. So now we have 2/3 times 12 over 1. Think to what we did. Can you cross-cancel anything? Yes, we can. We can cross-cancel the 3 and the 12. 3 goes into 3 1 time. 3 goes into 12 4 times. So now you have 4 times 2, which is 8, and 1 times 1, which is 1. 8 over 1 can be simplified to the whole number 8. So Kate biked 8 miles. Pause the video if you need more time to copy down the notes. Now let's try example 3. We need to find 5 1/2 times 3 1/3. Again, we're going to write it off to the side because I'm going to require a lot less writing than the notes want you to do. The first step we have to do is to change our mixed numbers to improper fractions. For this one, I'm still going to have you write it horizontally like we did the other problems, but we're going to write those improper fractions underneath the fractions. So 5 1/2, well, 2 times 5 is 10 plus 1 is 11, so we have 11 halves. 3 1/3, 3 times 3 is 9 plus 1 is 10, so we have 10 thirds. Ask yourself if there's anything you can cross cancel. We can cross cancel the 2 and the 10. 2 goes into both 2 and 10. So 2 divided by 2 is 1, and 10 divided by 2 is 5. So now we have 11 times 5, which is 55, and 1 times 3, which is 3. We'll still need to simplify this. We have to ask ourselves, how many times does 3 go into 55? You're probably going to need to use do a long division problem to solve this. And if you do that, you'll end up with a whole number of 18 and 1/3 left over. So our mixed number is 18 and 1/3. Pause the video if you need more time to copy down the notes. Don't forget, you have to have a question written down, so be sure to write one down so we can talk about it in class tomorrow. Let's try example number 2. There are 168 members in an orchestra, and 3/8 of them play the violin. How many members play the violin? Remember what I said about the word of? If we're trying to find 3/8 of them, we're going to multiply. So we're going to take 3/8 times 168. First, we have to write everything as a fraction. So we're going to take 168 and put it over 1. So now we have 3/8 times 168 over 1. Check your problem for cross-canceling. We can actually cross-cancel the 8 and the 168. 8 goes into both of them. 8 divided by 8 is 1, and 168 divided by 8 is 21. Next, take 3 times 21, which is 63, and 1 times 1 is 1. This can be simplified to 63. So our final sentence is, there are 63 members that play the violin. Pause the video if you need more time to copy down the notes. Don't forget, you have to have a question written down, so be sure to write one down so we can talk about it in class tomorrow. Now I want you to try these last 3 problems on your own. Remember, first change them to improper fractions, then cross-cancel if you can. Next, multiply numerators times numerator and denominator times denominator. The final step is to simplify. Pause the video, try these 3, then start the video again to see how well you did. The final answer for 3A is 10 and 19/24. The final answer for 3B is 4 and 17/25. And the final answer for letter C is 15 and 3/32. Pause the video if you need more time to copy down the notes. That test tastes good.